Good day everyone. So for today's discussion, we will be tackling about Unit 4, sentences, types, structures, and functions. So we are all aware that reading and writing correctly is very important. If we learn the structures and pronunciation of the language incorrectly, it will take several years to undo the mistakes learned. That is why knowledge of meaning of words, sentences, and parts of speech played a great role in writing and comprehension. So, as English teachers, we must make our students realize and recognize sentence structure and word because as they progress with the English language, it will be more difficult to correct problems in syntax. So, knowing the parts of sentences, for example, allows a learner to write sentences correctly. Kaya kapag natutunan na agad ng mga bata or natin ang sentence structure, mas magiging natural ability na lang natin ang pagko-correct ng syntax or paggagamit ng correct syntax. So as future English teachers, you will be faced with the challenge of building the natural inclination of your students to write sentences correctly, to convey their intended meaning, and comprehend varied sentence meaning. Hence, you also have to be proficient and knowledgeable in sentence types. So let's have the learning outcomes. So at the end of this unit, you should be able to construct different types of sentences and improve sentence structure. Let's now have the elements of sentence. In English language, it is important that sentences are communicated clearly. Sentences must follow certain patterns that can be described in grammatical terms. In writing sentences, we always include the two basic parts of a sentence, the subject and the predicate. They always go together to make a complete sentence. So every time gagawa tayo ng sentences, kailangan meron tayong subject and predicate. Or else, yung magiging sentence ninyo is incomplete or fragment na tinatawag. So let's have the subject first. In a sentence, the subject performing the action can be a noun phrase, or noun clause. So sa sentence natin, kung sino yung gumagawa ng action, siya yung considered na subject. Tandaan po natin, yung subject natin is pwede maging noun phrase, or noun clause. To further examine sentences, grammar experts have determined three kinds of subjects. So meron tayong complete subject, simple subject, and compound subject. So let's elaborate each. A complete subject is the part of a sentence that identifies who or what the sentence is about. It is made up of the simple subject, which is the main noun, and any words that modify it. So yung atin pong complete subject, it contains the simple subject, the noun that the whole sentence is about, but it also includes all of the words that modify that noun. Usually po sila yung complete sentence na kahit tanggalin mo yung karugtong nila. Like our example here, the tall tree swayed in the wind. So the tall tree is the complete subject. Kasi kahit tanggalin natin yung swayed in the wind, magiging kompleto pa rin siya, sentence pa rin siya. So yung the tall tree na yon, yan yung entire noun phrase natin. And this is usually found before the verb. So the tall tree swayed in the wind. Ano yung verb natin dyan? The word swayed. Okay? So, nabanggit natin dito na yung complete subject natin is usually found before the verb. So again, yung verb is swayed. So the tall tree is our complete subject. Again po, the complete subject can stand alone. Kahit tanggalin po natin yung swayed in the wind, kompleto pa rin yung the tall tree. That makes that word complete subject. Yung noun phrase na yan is the complete subject. Next, we have a simple subject. So, a simple subject is the noun or group of words that tells who or what a sentence is about. It is the foundation of a sentence and is usually a single noun. So, dito naman po tayo sa simple subject natin, siya yung tinutukoy sa usapan. So, katulad ng example natin dito. Again, same sentence. The tall tree swayed in the wind. So, yung word na tree po is the simple subject. Kasi siya yung tinutukoy. So, sino po yung nag-sway in the wind? Yung tree. Okay? So, simple subjects can be the main noun or pronoun being talked about in the sentence. Again, yung pinag-uusapan sa loob ng sentence natin, siya yung simple subject. Another example natin, hindi ko na siya ilalagay sa slide. So, my father took his children to the airport. The simple subject is father. Sino kasi yung pinag-uusapan? Sino yung dala sa mga bata papuntang airport? Yung father. Tandaan lang po natin, pag pinag-uusapan yung simple subject, yun kung sino ang tinutukoy sa buong sentence, yun yung simple subject. Okay, so let's move forward to compound subject. So, a compound subject is a sentence subject that contains two or more nouns, pronouns, or noun phrases. The parts of a compound subject are joined by a conjunction, like and, or nor. Usually sa conjunctions natin, madalas ginagamit yung mga yung fanboys, di ba? If familiar kayo, fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So, yan yung ating fanboys. Usually, ginagamit siya sa compound subject. Malaki ang part ng ating conjunctions para makakreate tayo ng compound subjects. So, meron tayong example dito. The sturdy young man and the child didn't get along very well. So, una, ano yung ating conjunction dyan? The word and. The conjunction and. The underlined groups of words are called compound subjects. Compound subjects consist of two or more subjects joined together by conjunctions. Nabanggit na natin yan kanina. Remember that the simple subjects of the sentence are man and child. Una muna tayong phrase, the sturdy young man. Ano yung pinag-uusapan? Sino yung pinag-uusapan natin dyan? Sino yung simple subject natin dyan? Yung man. Sa pangalawa naman nating phrase, the child didn't get along very well. So, sino naman yung pinag-uusapan natin dyan? Ano yung pinag-uusapan natin? Yung child. So, again, man and child are the simple subjects of each phrases. Also, take note po natin, no? Yung compound subjects po, yung subject niya talaga is more than one noun or pronoun. Kaya nga, yung ating complete subject kanina is child and the man. Mga common examples naman po ng ating compound subject are Jessie and Jane walked to school, Jack and Jill went up the hill, neither Mia nor Ben wanted to go to the library to study, my mother and I are going to the store, etc. So, let's always remember, no? Kapag compound subject, meron kayong complete subject every phrases na pinagdidikit ng conjunctions ninyo. Okay? So, let's have the predicate. So, as with subjects, predicates can be categorized as complete predicates, simple predicate, and compound predicates. To form a grammatically correct and complete sentence, the predicate must include a verb. Always merong verb ang predicate natin. It can also include objects, complements, and adverbials. So, the predicate of a sentence describes either what the subject is doing, kung anong ginagawa ng subject, or the state of the subject. Nabanggit na natin na ang predicate po is always merong verb. Pero it can also include objects, either direct or indirect, and different types of modifiers. Pwedeng adverbs, prepositional phrases, or objects. A complete predicate in a sentence includes a verb that tells something about the complete subject natin. So, meron tayong sinasabi tungkol sa ating complete subject. So, meron tayong example dito. In a sentence, Jonathan's father makes shoes. So, may sentence tayo. Jonathan's father makes shoes. The complete predicate is makes shoes. And the simple verb is makes. Okay. Again, balik tayo sa taas na definition. Yung complete predicate po in a sentence includes a verb that tells something about the complete subject. So, In the sentence, Jonathan's father makes shoes. Ano yung ating complete subject? Jonathan's father. So ano yung pwede nating masabi tungkol sa Jonathan's father sa ating complete sentence? Complete subject. Makes shoes. So yung tatay ni Jonathan gumagawa ng sapatos. Jonathan's father makes shoes. Yan po yung ating complete predicate. And the simple verb is of course the word makes kasi action word yung ating make. Tandaan natin, no? Palaging merong sinasabi tungkol sa ating complete subject. Yan yung predicate natin. And palaging merong verb ang ating predicate. Let's now move on to objects. So in English, an object in a sentence is considered the receiver of the action. Kung sino yung tumatanggap ng ating action, siya yung object. So we have here a sample sentence. Leslie dropped the ball or she ate the cake. So yung dalawang sentence na yan po is merong object. Again, ang object po ang nagre-receive ng action. So, in Leslie dropped the ball, sino yung gumagawa ng action? Si Leslie. Okay, yan yung una. Si Leslie yung ating magiging subject dyan. Next. Again, Leslie dropped the ball. Ano yung ating verb dyan? Or ano yung action na ginawa? Drop. Okay? So, na-drop, nahulog yung bola. And then, ano yung magiging object natin dyan? Sino yung nag-receive ng action? Ano yung nahulog? Ano yung na-drop? Yung ball. That is why, in our sentence, Leslie dropped the ball. Yung ball po, yung nag-receive ng action. Therefore, the ball is our object. Again, the object po is the receiver of the action. Okay. Sa ating pangalawang example, she ate the cake. Again, ano po yung magiging subject natin dyan? Sino yung subject natin? Sino yung gumawa ng action? Sino yung kumain ng cake? She. Okay. Ano yung action na ginamit? Ano yung verb na ginawa? Ate, kinain. So, sino po yung nag-receive ng action? Ano yung kinain natin? Yung cake. So therefore, in the sentence, she ate the cake, the word cake is the receiving action. Kaya, siya yung maging object natin. Okay? So, always remember po, no? Yung ating object po ay ang receiver ng action. Siya yung tumatanggap ng ginagawang action sa ating sentence. So, let's elaborate more about objects. Okay, so objects po can be categorized by their different functions in sentences, and these have 3 types. Meron tayong direct object o yung DO, indirect object o yung IO, and prepositional object or yung PO. So, let's have first the direct object. We have here some example and indicated na rin po agad yung answers dyan. So, in our direct object, yung sample sentence natin dito is Sandra wrote a poem. Okay. Tandaan po natin, no, yung direct object po, it is a noun phrase denoting a person or thing that is the recipient of the transitive verb. Okay, in other words, the direct object is a word or phrase that receives the action of the verb. So, para po siyang definition itself ng ating object. Pero, ito, direct object na. Nakadirekta na agad sa ating receiver yung ating verb. So, balik tayo sa sample. Sandra wrote a poem. So, as indicated in our slide, what did Sandra write? A poem. So, ganyan po kasimple yung ating direct object. Next naman, we have the IO. So, another sample sentence, Sandra gave me the poem she wrote. Okay, yung atin naman po indirect object, it is a noun phrase referring to someone or something that is affected by the action of the verb. So, para naman siyang recipient pa rin po ng ating verb. Ng ating object. So, in the sentence, Sandra gave me the poem she wrote. So, who did Sandra give the poem? Me. Okay? Tinutukoy po sa indirect object natin kung sino yung binigyan ni Sandra ng tula. O, sino yung binigyan ni Sandra ng tula? Me. So, the word me, yung ating indirect object. And next one po, we have the prepositional object. Example po natin dyan is, I wrote on the wall. So, sa atin naman pong prepositional object, yung noun po or pronoun, it appears after a preposition in a sentence. We can identify the prepositional object agad-agad if mahanap natin yung word that comes before the noun or the noun phrase or the pronoun. Usually, yan po yung ating prepositional object. So, let's go back to our sample. I wrote on the wall. So, again, makikita natin yung prepositional object after ng ating preposition. So, in our sentence, I wrote on the wall, ano yung preposition natin dyan? The word on. So, ano yung kasunod ng on? The wall. So, yung ating subject dyan is I. Yung ating verb, ano yung ginawa nating action is wrote. And then, of course, the preposition na ginamit is on. So, saan ako nagsulat? Yan yung question para mahanap natin yung ating prepositional object. Saan ako nagsulat? The answer po is on the wall. Again, tatandaan po, usually yung prepositional object natin is it happens before the preposition. So, para mas madali ninyong mahanap, find the preposition first, then continue finding the prepositional object kasi nakapasunod lang po yan. Okay? So, let's have our next slide. Okay, now let's have the complements. So, complements are words that complete the predicate by describing a noun in the sentence. Linking verbs are followed by a complement to form a complete sentence. So, usually po, complement can be used as a noun to refer to someone or something that completes, enhances, or works well with someone or something else. So, we have here 4 kinds of complement. We have the subject complement, object complement, adjective complement, and verb complement. So, let us elaborate each. So, let's first have subject complement. So, subject complement functions as a noun, a pronoun, or adjective. It comes with linking verb and tells something about the subject of the sentence. Dinadagdagan lang po ng ating subject complement yung information na meron yung ating subject. Yan yung purpose ng ating subject complement. It usually completes the idea of the subject by identifying, describing, or renaming our subject. Under our subject complement, meron tayong 3 kinds. We have the predicative nominative, the predicate adjective, and adverbial complement. So same goes, iisa-isahin po natin yan. Again, tandaan natin ha, the subject complement have 3 kinds. Nasa unang kind pa lang po tayo ng complement ha, subject complement pa rin tayo. And under the subject complement, meron tayong 3 kind again. So una, we have predicative nominative. The predicative nominative which appears with a linking verb and renames, identifies, or explains the subject of the sentence. So, meron tayo ditong sample. The new president of the company will be Dana. Okay, let's chop everything para mahanap kung ano yung ating predicative nominative. So, sa ating sentence na the new president of the company will be Dana, hanapin muna natin yung subject. So, ano yung subject natin dyan? The new president of the company. Initially, yan yung magiging subject natin. Ano naman po yung ating linking verb? So, the word will be our linking verb. And the predicative nominative will be Dana. So, bakit naging si Dana yung ating predicative nominative? No, pwede naman siyang maging subject kasi siya yung pronoun or noun. Dana po kasi renames or re-identifies the subject. So again, the complete sentence natin kanina, the new president of the company will be Dana. Sino yung magiging new president ng company? Si Dana. So, rename lang po natin ang atong una na subject, which is the new president of the company. Tatandaan, the predicative nominative renames, identifies, or explain the subject of the sentence. Yan po ang ating predicative nominative. So in short, sa ating sentence, the new president of the company will be Dana. So ano yung nirename Dana dyan? Yung president. So yung Dana, yung ating predicative nominative. Next. So the predicate adjective is an adjective that appears with a linking verb and describes the subject of the sentence. Kung yung kanina po sa predicative nominative natin ina-identify, rename, or ini-explain, sa atin naman po predicate adjective is dinedescribe yung subject ng ating sentence. So, may sample tayo dito. The spread of the virus seemed uncontrollable. Okay. Ano yung subject natin dito? The spread of the virus. Okay? So, again, yung ating subject is the spread of the virus. Again, i-describe natin yung subject. That will be our our predicate adjective. So, let's go back. Our subject is the spread of the virus. Ano yung ating linking verb o yung verb na ginamit? The word seemed. Okay? The word seemed. Next, what is the predicate adjective natin? Ano yung ginamit nating salita para i-describe yung ating subject? The word uncontrollable. Okay? So, the spread of the virus seemed uncontrollable. Ang magiging predicate adjective natin is the word uncontrollable. Bakit? Because it is describing our subject, the spread of the virus. Okay? So, yan yung ating predicate adjective. Always remember, predicate adjectives describes the subject of the sentence. Next, we have the adverbial complement. So, adverbial complement is an adverb with linking verb and tells something of place. So, yung ating adverbial complement lang po is nagfo-focus lang siya sa something related sa ating place within the sentence. So, sample natin dito is, Nelson is in the market. So, sa ating parts of speech, di ba, yung adverb natin doon is, ina-identify natin kung anong adverb siya, like, kung adverb time ba siya, manner, or place. So, dito sa ating adverbial complement, we will just identify something that is telling about sa lugar na meron tayo sa ating sentence. So, again, sample, Nelson is in the market. Ano yung location ni Nelson sa ating sentence? Asan si Nelson? So, Nelson is in the market. Therefore, our adverbial complement will be market. Kasi nga po, market tells the adverb of place. Marami pa tayong types ng adverbial complements. So, mayroon tayong sa location. Example natin pa lang yung sa market natin. Yung time, yung manner, and the degree. Okay? So, lahat po yan is under the types of adverbial complements. Pero for now, yung nasa example natin is adverb of place. Now, let's go back to the complements, the 4 kinds of complements. Natapos na natin yung subject complements. And under the subject complements, meron pa rin tayong 3 kinds. We have the predicative nominative, yung nag-identify, nagre-rename ng ating subject. The predicate adjective, yung nagde-describe naman po ng ating subject, and the adverbial complement, which is nag-identify or nagsasabi ng tungkol sa place, pwedeng manner, pwedeng degree, pwedeng time. Let's now have the second kind of our complement. Meron object complement. So what is object complement? It is a word found only with direct object. It usually comes after a direct object to rename it or tell what it has become. So an object complement po, it is a word or phrase that provides additional information about sentence direct object. So, paano natin ma-identify ang ating object complement? Una, find the word or phrase that comes after the direct object and determine if it describes the object. So, we have here an example of object complement. Una, I colored my drawing yellow. So, it is the object complement which modifies the direct object either by describing it or renaming it. Okay, so i-breakdown natin yan. Sa ating I colored my drawing yellow, ano yung ating subject? The word I. Okay, ano naman po yung verb? Colored. And yung direct object natin, my drawing. So yung object complement natin will be yellow. Okay, so sa object complement natin, tandaan po palagi, dinidescribe natin yung action. Pwede din namang rename natin yung ating indirect object. Next, the pang-tatlong kinds ng ating complement, we have the adjective complement. So, functional part of a sentence that completes or complements the adjective. Pwede po siyang noun clause or prepositional phrase. So, next slide, we have some example. So, unang sample po natin, I was happy that she was chosen. Yung magiging noun clause po natin dyan is that she was chosen. So, ano yung ating subject sa I was happy that she was chosen? The subject is I. Ano naman po yung ating verb? Was. So, yung adjective complement po natin dyan will be happy. Okay, kaya po yung ating noun clause is that she was chosen. So, bakit ka happy? Because she was chosen. Same goes with the ating pangalawang example. I am very worried of the situation. So, yung of the situation will be our prepositional phrase. Again, yung ating subject will be I pa rin. So, yung linking verb natin dito will be am. And the adjective complement is worried. Again, yung prepositional phrase natin, di ba, is of the situation. Bakit? Kasi binobodify mo yung word na worried. So, the question will be, saan ka worried? Okay? So, you will be worried because of the situation. That will be our prepositional phrase. Okay, so the last kind of our complement will be verb complement. So, this refers to direct and indirect objects, and others use it to refer to a complement happening after a linking verb or a subject complement. The complement must give some information about or description of the subject. Okay, para lang siyang the word itself, verb complement. You will be complementing the actions. So, example, she laughed. Okay, so she laughed. Yung laughed po will be complementing the action. Ano yung ginagawa? Tumatawa. Okay? So, yung laughed natin or yung tumatawa will be the verb. So, laughed will signify as our verb complement. Next, ano pa ba? He slept soundly. Okay. So, ano yung magiging verb complement natin dyan? Yung magiging verb natin from the sentence itself. Yung slept. Okay? Yung slept will be our verb complement. So, yung ating verb complement, usually it completes the verb's meaning. Pwede din it provides additional information or enhances the sentence clarity. So, yan po yung ating verb complement. Up next, we have here the kinds of sentences according to use or function. So, familiar na tayo nito kasi since then, Parati na tayong nagtatakil nito during our elementary days, our high school days, and up until now, our college days. So we have declarative sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. So let's first have the declarative sentence. So declarative sentence naman po tells or expresses a statement, an idea, or opinion which ends with a period. You are just simply stating your opinion with period po. Kasi 'di ba dalawa yung types of sentence natin na nagagamit tayo ng period. Pero sa declarative sentence, from the word itself, declarative, declare, you're just expressing what's on your mind with a period. Yung punctuation natin will be period. Okay? So we have here some examples. I want to learn how to create a web design. So that is a statement. I want to learn how to create a web design. Ano yung ginamit nating punctuation? Period. Ano yung ini-state natin dyan? Yung statement natin. Okay? And next one, we have the Antonio is a good web designer. So, opinion na po siya. Same goes. Ano yung ginamit nating punctuation? Period. And we are just declaring our opinion. Okay? So, wag tayong malilito sa declarative and sa another types of sentence na nagagamit ng punctuation na period. Next one, we have the imperative sentence. So, another types of sentence naman po ito na gumagamit ng full stop or the punctuation period. So, imperative sentence po gives a direct or an order, command, or request. It may end with a period or an exclamation point depending on what is the situation. Okay, so dito naman po sa imperative sentence, we are no longer declaring our opinion, we are no longer declaring our statement, we are giving demands. Okay? Nagko-command tayo, nagre-request tayo, nag-uutos tayo sa imperative sentence. Okay? So, example, we have clean up your room. Ano yung ginamit nating punctuation? Again, period pa rin po. Pero, nag-uutos na tayo. We are giving a command or an order. Pangalawang example, please move your chair. And last example is move with exclamation point. Again, imperative sentence po, we can use exclamation point or period depending on what is the situation. Okay? Nag-uutos kayo, kaya gagamit kayo ng exclamation point sa ating imperative sentence. So, hence the example, last example, the move. Again, wag po tayong malilito sa declarative and imperative, no? Pag declarative, we are just declaring our statement, opinion, or ideas. Kapag naman imperative, you are ordering, you are commanding, you are requesting. Yan yung pagkakaiba nilang dalawa. Pero they are both using full stop. Pero yung ating imperative po, pwede tayong mag-exclamation point. Next one, we have the exclamatory sentence. So, delivers strong feeling and ends with an exclamatory point. And this feeling can be feeling of anger, happiness, excitement, or surprise. Usually, gumagamit tayo ng exclamation point, yung punctuation natin na exclamation point, kapag mayroon tayong gustong i-emphasize, gustong i-deliver with strong feelings. Okay? Naka-indicate naman po yan sa exam definition. So, example po natin, that was great. Ano yung ginamit nating punctuation? Exclamation point. Another example, what a wonderful day it is. So, ano again yung ginamit nating punctuation? Exclamation point. Kung napapansin po ninyo, yung ating dalawang example, they are both showing or showing happiness. Okay? Showing excitement. Yan yung ating nasa example sa baba. So, there are some exclamatory sentences which may seem asking a question but are still considered exclamatory sentence because of the words behind it that have strong emotions. So, example natin dito. Can you believe that? Again, punctuation mark natin is exclamation point. And then, look what you've done. Exclamation point pa rin po. They seem to be asking question or demanding, but it is still example of exclamatory sentence because of the strong emotion na nilalagay. Yung sa example natin sa imperative po, yung move with exclamation point, diba? Pwede siyang nasa exclamatory sentence kasi nga nagsishow siya ng emotion. Or nag-uutos, kumbaga. And meron ding strong emotion. And last kind of sentence natin, we have interrogative sentence. So, it asks questions and ends with a question mark, obviously. And it usually answers sentences that start with 5 W's. Yung what, where, when, why. Nakalimutan ko yung isang W. And yung how and do. So, example natin, when are you coming home? And how did you get the virus? So, interrogative, we're just interrogating, we're just asking questions. Anyways, pahapyaw na lang to kasi during our discussion sa ating punctuations, natakal naman na natin yung mga usage ng ating punctuation marks indicated din sa ating kinds of sentences. Yung full stop, which is the period, yung exclamation point, and the question marks. Okay, so this will be the last part of our discussion for sentences, types, structures, and functions. So I hope meron kayong natutunan sa ating video discussion ngayon. And if masyadong complex or may hindi naintindihan, feel free to question me para maging aware kayo kung saan kayo nalalabuan during our discussion. Okay? But before I end this video discussion natin, I will be giving you some take-home activities or quiz. I'll be sending the copy of this discussion anyway. And I'll be sending din po the questions na lang during the quiz time. So that's all for our discussion for today. Please make sure to study para may masagot kayo sa ating quiz time. So that's it. Goodbye, everyone.